Go ahead.
Okay, so you're indicted for 22 counts today. If you can lay it out for us, David.
Too bad. I'm interviewing David Caldwell.
Well, there's a lot of counts here. There's 22 of them. It would take me a while to lay out everything, but I will tell you that what the 22 counts encompass is essentially Mr. Peralta's abuse of office and his misuse of resources as it relates to the obstruction of an investigation into the sexual allegations of his then wife, Ms. Schaefer.
You're saying that he obstructed justice by firing Donnie Bourgeois and another employee, Mr. Brannon, but he's saying that they were fired because they committed bad acts and he needed to fire them, and that he made you aware of those ahead of time.
Well, I understand the reasons that he's put forth for doing that, but I will tell you this has been a long process that the grand jury has considered over the course of several months. These witnesses had filed for whistleblower protection and have considered evidence that lead to the charge having to do with tampering with these witnesses. So one of the things that we rely on in our office and with the district attorney when we work these kind of cases is people to come forward. You know, what everybody says about DNA and scientific evidence, really what it comes down to in these kind of cases is people telling on people. And so if we don't take the steps to protect our witnesses from intimidation and harassment, then they're never going to come forward in the first place. And so one of the things that this case is about, it's about sending a message to the public that if you're a witness, we're going to have your back.
What did Mr. Gurgis lie about in his perjury charge?
Well, I can't discuss specifically what he lied about. It deals with a previous incident. We have to have court approval in order to release that. So that particular count and the substance of that will be forthcoming. But because it involves grand jury testimony, we'll have to wait on that particular count.
Mr. Durbin's referred to this in court as an abuse of office crime spree. Is that what you guys look at this for the last 18 months? Is this a crime spree over the last 18 months?
Well, what happened was we started out with initially the sex charge, which was all that we had, and then after that, this is when the spree started with regards to all of these different counts. What we also had was we had people within the community who came forward about other acts that were committed by Mr. Peralta and other people, and so that's what took us a while, is that we had to investigate other things that people told us were going on within the community.
Why didn't you try again for the sex charge?
Well, as it relates to the sex charge, we have an additional grand jury meeting or two that we need to complete. We have some other information that we need to present to the grand jury as it relates to that charge, and then some other facts that have come up. So we intend to do that. So that's not quite done, but we'll have a decision on that as well in the meantime. And I also need to note that as it relates to some of the counts with some of the other people that we've been working with, the DA, Mr. Nicosia, he is taking another aspect of this investigation as it relates to another individual. This has been a massive case. It's been the criminal version of the gift that keeps on giving, I guess, if you're a prosecutor. And so he's got to take those things and look at those things in order to assist us so that we can assist him. It's just a massive case.
Mr. Peralta has said before that he felt this was a witch hunt. He didn't comment much today, but if he and his attorney make that allegation again, is this a witch hunt, the fact that he's now indicted for the 4th time in about 18 months?
Well, all we can do is follow the law and follow the facts and make the presentation to the grand jury. I just think that still it's pretty ridiculous to assume that all we have to do is to sit around and try to go bum rapping people. I mean, we did not make this decision. You had a decision made by a body of people from the public who heard a massive amount of information, and witnesses were called and evidence was presented. So we did this the right way. We just didn't think of this stuff in our dreams.
What can you say about Mr. Gurgis' business dealings that are enumerated in the malfeasance counts regarding his business?
Well, and that's a separate indictment that we have for 5 counts dealing with Mr. Gurgis. And I will tell you, that was one of the offshoots from the Peralta investigation. I mean, this was one of the things that came forward that we realized we needed more time to investigate, and there's a couple of more aspects that we need to look into regarding his business dealings. But I will tell you in general, what it involves is Mr. Gurgis using resources on parish time, double dipping in the theft count with his employment records, and also doing business with the parish while he's employed by the parish, which you clearly cannot do.
Is there a message here for the people of St. Bernard Parish?
Well, there's a couple of messages here. The main message that we want to send to the people is that we know that this has been something that I've heard from a lot of the members in the community that's been to them an embarrassment. It's something that they want to have closure on. The people need to understand that the reason we've taken the time that we have is because we wanted to do things right, we wanted to be fair, and we wanted to do it in an ethical fashion. And we're going to finish what we start. And so they just need to hang in there. We're gonna do the right thing like we always have.
You asked for $1 million bond. Is Mr. Peralta a risk to the people of this community or to his office, given the fact that he is the highest elected office holder in St. Bernard?
I think the reason we asked for the $1 million bond in this case is because he's been indicted on 2 other separate accounts. And what we've had to do during that course of time is that there have been other crimes that have been committed which are outlined in this indictment. And so if you've got anybody else in there that's out on bond and they go commit other crimes, they go to jail. They go to jail, they have a bond hearing. And so we felt in this case that a higher bond amount is appropriate for someone who continues to commit crimes while they're out on bond.
For the record, you got $110,000 bond.
I believe that's correct.
5,000 for each count?
Yes. And I also wanted to note that as it relates to Mr. Gorgeous' account, we came to Sheriff Pullman initially when all this was going on. He offered his full cooperation and actually assisted us in the investigation of that case.
What's the next
Mr.
step?
Peralta's contention that Mr. Brannon had hacked into the system and that caused some of these messages that were considered the stalking messages?
Well, there have been a lot of things that have been said in this case. A lot of them are not true. We obviously dispute that contention. We look forward to the day when he has the opportunity to present that under oath in a court with the rules of evidence, and we'll address it at that time.
The lion's share of today's indictment stem from the stalking of the wife and the cover-up?
I would say that there are a lot of charges that stem from the stalking. As far as the cover-up, I would more characterize it as an abuse of his office in an effort to intimidate and harass witnesses and obtain an advantage in both the criminal and civil divorce proceedings.
What's next?
We're going to set him for arraignment. We have a couple of dates that we got with the judge. He has moved to recuse our office. As y'all may be aware, he's moved to recuse our office several times. It's been denied a couple of times. It's the same allegations. They have created their own basis for potential recusal by filing a suit against the office and against me personally for defamation. So that's going to be heard, and we look forward again to getting somebody under oath, actually.
What can you say about the allegations you were telling with America? What was, what was against hands?
So this is what I'll say as it relates to Paratech. That is one of the aspects of this matter that is still under investigation. We need to do a little bit more work as it relates to that. We do plan on coming back on that specific aspect. So I will have to leave that one there because I want to see what these some of these other witnesses may have to say. Well, I will say this. There are other related parties that in this investigation we need to take a look at and see what the facts present. That is one aspect of the investigation that we need to do some additional work on.
Thanks, Dave.
Okay.